I was asked about codependency. The codependency for me is about one's unrealistic attachment, not connection, attachment to another person more often than not, but it can be a thing, right? There's an addictive quality that one possesses that is unrealistic and that it focuses on some kind of psychological and or emotional need. So I've experienced codependency. Let's just cut to the chase. And the short version of this is whoever it was, like there was an addiction and codependent behavior I had with my father, desiring his attention. And what I recognized was what I thought he needed to give me. One, he was incapable of giving in the way that I thought it should look. But two, at its core, the forms of love and the forms of acknowledgement and the forms of communication were missing for me with me. So all he did was serve as a mirror for the things that I thought I needed outside of me were the things that were missing inside of me. So for anybody that's experiencing codependency, where you're asking, how are we feeling? Where you're checking in for validation on yourself from something or someone outside of you, write down what it is that they possess. Because sometimes the codependent behavior is associated with admiration in the qualities presented in another, which oftentimes means that those are qualities that we either have that we don't use with any frequency, that we have and we've not acknowledged them, that we have and we're making an implicit comparison to someone else's qualities, so then our quality is not good enough. That also creates that pedestal moment where we place people on a pedestal. Well, if you think about it, pedestal means you've elevated somebody above you, which means you've diminished yourself. So you see yourself as small and insignificant in comparison, and more often than not, incapable of ever climbing the pedestal or being on the pedestal yourself. And by the way, for me, being on a pedestal isn't a great place to be at all. Whether you're the one on the pedestal or the one that is admiring the person or thing on the pedestal. Remember, it's a person or thing, because you can have a codependent ability or codependent tendencies associated with producing results. I didn't get the job, or I didn't move up in the ranks the way that I thought that I should. So you put that position on a pedestal because if you can ever attain it, then somehow life will be better. Codependency, an unrealistic attachment. Distinction between attachment and connection. My sons, when they were younger, I bought them a remote control car that had a wire. When they stood in one place, there was only so far the car could go because the car was attached to the wire, which was attached to the remote control, which was now attached to the hand. A cordless or wireless remote control allows for there to be an electronic connection between the vehicle and the remote control unit, but it does not tether the car to it in the same way. So an individual that's in a healthy relationship recognizes their own dependency and they're able to move and flow fluidly through the relationship. A codependent person is attached and their movement is predicated on it being acceptable or accepted by the other person. Even if you're making it your boss, I'm not going to make these moves or make any waves because I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to move up through the ranks. So even there's the walking on eggshells to get things right. It's a lot of what we see in abusive relationships. And all you got to understand is abusive relationships still take two. So at some level, in order for both people to be in a codependent relationship, there are unhealthy behaviors that they are both engaging in individually and collectively. And when it's done over a prolonged period of time, it becomes abusive in nature, in that it sabotages the health and the well-being of the individual, of the relationship. Codependent. Take a look at what you think the other person or thing has that you lack, write it down, and then get with somebody that can walk you through skill development and the acquisition of tools that you can apply. Or take a look and see if you already have them and you need to apply them with greater frequency. That would be your gratitude moment. The more that you entrust yourself with yourself and begin to honor yourself, the more you'll move from attachment to connection. I hope that supports your journey. That was a challenging one. Be gentle with yourself.